Hello everyone. Are we ready to study inverse trigonometric functions? Yeah. Yeah. As I know, some of you are very excited after studying these relations and functions. Many of you are really excited to study this inverse trigonometric functions, and I know at this is the right time to study, in fact, because after studying the function, domain, range, codomain, conditions for any function to be invertible, so this is the right time to study inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, so to begin with, what we need to do, we will have a brief recap on trigonometric functions. Then maybe we can go to the main topic, and some of the graphs also I'm just now taking in this section. So the topic of discussion would be first a very brief recap on trigonometric functions and basic conditions for invertible functions. As we have earlier studied in a previous topic, we have already done it, but still I want you to have a brief recap. Secondly, introduction of inverse trigonometric functions and principal value branches, which is very important, and two basic properties of inverse trigonometric functions. We have many properties of inverse trigonometric functions. What this lecture I have divided it, this topic specifically I have divided into 6 parts. Today the first part we are studying. So in our subsequent parts we will be covering the remaining properties. So to start with, just have a brief recap whatever we have done in class 11th. So trigonometric functions. First, have a look on the graph of sine function. Okay, so sine function, as you can just now look at this graph. First thing you can see along x-axis, the spread of the graph, you see it's non-ending, in fact, in both the directions, which shows the domain of the function is set of real numbers. And along y-axis you can see height of the graph, 1 here, and this side -1. So it means sin x lies between -1 and +1. Maximum value of sin x 1 and minimum value is -1. Okay, so function f from real number set to closed interval -1 1 defined by fx equal to sin x. So domain of sin x is set of real numbers and codomain and range, that is closed interval -1 1. Similarly, if you come to cosine function, and again you can observe the graph of the function along x-axis, it extends in both the directions, right? There is no end, so it covers the whole real number, you can say real number line. So domain of cosine function is also set of real numbers, and as you can see height of the graph, okay, it ranges from -1 to +1. It shows cos x has minimum value -1, maximum value +1. Okay, so it means range of the cosine function is from -1 to 1. Both ends are inclusive. So cosine function, it is a function from set of real numbers to -1 1. Similarly, coming to tan function, you see again there are some gaps in between. What does it mean? So these gaps, it signifies here at these points tan x is not defined. Okay, and वैसे भी देखोगे tan x equal to sin x by cos x. Tan x is not defined when cos x equal to 0. Cos x equal to 0 means x equal to odd multiple of pi by 2, right? So here you see cos, pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, yeah, minus pi by 2, yeah. So all these points, no, tan x is not defined. So you do not see any portion of the graph at these points. And on the other hand, along y-axis, tan x is extended in both the direction without any stop, without any break. So it means range of tan function is set of real numbers, right? Okay, this is domain and this is range. Now cosec x is not defined when sin x equal to 0. So that's why, yeah, sin x 0 means x equal to n pi, sin 2 pi, sin 3 pi, any multiple of pi, sin x is 0. So we have taken domain of cosec x is set of real numbers difference n pi, where n is any integer, and here range, okay, set of real numbers difference minus 1 1. So I'll show you the graph in next slide, the slide in which we will be taking cosec x and sec x, okay. And here secant x, it is again not defined when cos x is 0. Cos x 0 means x equal to 2n plus 1 into pi by 2. Okay, so domain of secant x is set of real numbers difference this odd multiple of pi by 2, and range is set of real numbers difference minus 1 1. Again I will show this when we take the slide containing sec x and sec inverse x. And finally cot x, as you know, cot x is cos x by sin x. When sin x 0, cot x not defined. So that's why domain of cot x is r difference n pi, n belongs to set of integers, and codomain, that is equal to range, also set of real numbers. Okay, so this is basically the brief recap of trigonometric functions which we already have studied extensively in class 11th. Okay, and also we have studied function chapter. We know function is invertible only when it is bijective. It means if we have f is a function from a to b, it is 1 1 and on to, then only f is invertible, and f inverse will be a function from b to a, right? And when we have y equal to fx is a bijective function, then we take x equal to f inverse y. So this is we have already studied. And also by looking at least these three graphs, you can just very clearly say none of the functions are 1 1, right? Though we have taken range equal to codomain, means functions are onto functions, but none of the functions are 1 1, right? So here you see the very simple example I can take: sin 0 0, sin pi 0, sin 2 pi 0, sin minus pi is also 0. So for many x, whenever x minus pi, when x 0, pi, 2 pi, everywhere sin x is 0. So for many values of x, we have only one value of sin x. Similar thing with cosine also. And as we have already studied in, how to test function is not 1 1. In horizontal line test, means if you take a horizontal line, if that line intersects the curve at more than 1 points, it shows function is not 1 1. So it clearly shows in all of the trigonometric functions, right? So by nature, trigonometric functions are periodic functions. So these are not 1 1 function. So it means it is not bijective. So the none of the trigonometric functions are invertible. But अभी हम पढ़ेंगे क्या? Right? Our topic is inverse trigonometric functions, right? So how to make the trigonometric functions invertible? That is basic discussion. So to start with, we can take again, we will come back to sine graph of sine function, then discuss domain and range, then how to make it invertible. So like this. So coming back to the graph again. So here, as we have just discussed, domain of sine x is domain of fx equal to sine x is set of real numbers, and range is closed interval minus 1 1, and sine x is not 1 1, because if you draw a horizontal line it will intersect the curve at many points. Or you can simply, you can take some examples, as I just told you, sine 0 0, sine pi 0, sine 2 pi 0, sine minus pi 0. So for x equal to so many values, you have only one value of sine x. So sine x is basically many one function, means it is not 1 1. But if we restrict the domain of sine x, if we restrict the domain to any of these intervals, like minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2, this one, just look at the graph, this portion from minus pi by 2 to minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2, again minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, फिर pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. So like this. So we can have many such intervals, right? So if we consider any of these intervals as domain and minus 1 1 closed interval as range, sine inverse can be defined. I mean sine x will be invertible. So sine inverse can be defined in each of these intervals. So sine inverse is a function whose domain is minus 1 1, because whenever we take inverse function, whenever you take f is a function from a to b, f inverse is a function from b to a. So that's why range of sine x becomes domain of sine inverse. So sine inverse is a function whose domain is minus 1 1, and range could be any one of these, any of these intervals in fact. But should we take all these intervals, right? No, because we just don't want to make the thing very complex. And what do we do here? We take the interval which is most nearer to origin. Okay, so most nearer to origin, I think that is your minus pi by 2 pi by 2. So this minus pi by 2 pi by 2 interval, out of all these intervals, no, many intervals, we consider minus pi by 2 pi by 2, that is the interval. And here also sine x will be invertible when we take domain minus pi by 2 pi by 2 and minus 1 1 as range. So sine x will be invertible. So this value we can take it as principal value branch. Okay, we name it principal value branch. So sine inverse is a function from minus 1 1 to minus pi by 2 pi by 2. It is a function such that whenever you take x equal to sine theta, it means theta equal to sine inverse x. It is just like whenever you write y equal to fx, x equal to f inverse y. Okay, for example, if you write sine pi by 3 equal to root 3 by 2, it means sine inverse root 3 by 2 equal to pi by 3. Okay, just by looking at graph of sine inverse, you see, whenever, yeah, this one is your sine x, okay, and this pink one, this graph, it is graph of sine inverse. Okay, both sine x and sine inverse, they are mirror reflection along this y equal to x. Okay, and if you take the circle also, no, here you see 0 to minus pi by 2 to 0, 0 to pi by 2. It means we are taking minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, so basically this is, when simply said, whenever we take sine x invertible, we have to restrict domain of that function, and after restricting the domain of the function, we will take the value, the interval which is more nearer to origin, we take it as principal value branch. So principal value branch is basically, see, sine inverse is a function from here to this, -1, 1 to this. So this is range of the sine inverse function. So principal value branch, we may define it as, it is number 1, it is range of the sine inverse function, inverse trigo function, right? Secondly, we can take principal value branch is that branch in which the trigo function will be 1 1. Okay, principal value branch is that restricted domain in which your sin x, and आगे भी पढ़ेंगे cos x, tan x, all these, the trigo function will be invertible, right? So in this case, minus pi by 2, this closed interval is branch of sine inverse. Okay, next come to cos inverse. Here you see again the graph we have discussed a bit. Domain of cosine function is set of real numbers. Range is closed interval -1 1. So it is not invertible because cos x is also periodic function of 2 pi, means every 2 pi interval में cosine function will be repeated. The value gets repeated, right? That is what we mean by this periodic function. So and also you can just now see all these values, like so many repetition, right? So whenever you take cos pi by 2 0, 3 pi by 2 0, cos 5 pi by 2 0, like this, so it is not 1 1 basically, so ये invertible नहीं है. So if we restrict the domain to any of these intervals, means minus pi 0, 0 pi, pi 2 pi, and so on, there are many intervals like this. Okay, you can just look at the graph, 0 to pi, right? And similarly minus pi to 0. So जहाँ पे वैल्यू रिपीट नहीं होगा ना, it becomes 1 1, and range is -1 1. So cos inverse will be defined. So cos inverse will be defined on any one of these intervals, right? So but again, like sine inverse, here also we consider the nearest, more nearer, interval, which is our 0 pi. Okay, so we take range of cos inverse as 0 pi, or in other words, whenever we restrict the domain of cosine function to 0 pi, range till -1 1, so cos x will be invertible. So cos inverse is a function from -1 1 to 0 pi, right? And whenever you write y equal to cos x, x equal to cos inverse y, right? Or cos inverse x equal to theta, if and only if cos theta equal to x. For example, cos pi by 3 equal to 1 by 2. This implies cos inverse 1 by 2 equal to pi by 3, right? So here you can have a look at the graph of cosine function. See, this is the cosine function in which we have restricted the domain to 0 pi, right? And cos inverse x is like this. Now coming to tan function. So as you know, tan function is basically, whenever we restrict its domain to open interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2, and range is r, so it is invertible, it is bijective, so invertible. So tan inverse is a function from r to open interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. Okay, so tan inverse, again if we write y equal to tan x, x equal to tan inverse y, or you can say tan theta equal to x, theta equal to tan inverse x. right? Yeah, tan inverse x theta, theta is tan inverse x. So principal value branch is open interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. Okay, this is the graph of tan x and tan inverse x. So fx equal to tan x, the graph already we have discussed in our first slide, and this is like graph of tan inverse x. Okay, and next point of discussion is cosecant function. Yeah, simply you can say cosec inverse x, and yeah, see the graph of cosec x. Okay, in the other slide I have not shown you the graph, here you see. And if you recall the graph of sin x, no, जहाँ पे sin x नहीं है वहाँ पे cosec, या जहाँ पे cosec नहीं है, it's like this, no, you take sin x like this, no, so it means the -1 that portion is not, I mean, taken by cosec x first. Secondly, you see what else is not taken. Okay, whenever sin x equal to 0, cosec x is not defined. So that's why the domain of cosec function is R difference n pi, where n belongs to set of integers. Range is set of real numbers, difference open interval -1 1. Okay, because you know cosec pi by 2 is 1, cosec 3 pi by 2 is -1. So 1 and -1, these values can be taken by cosec x. So what it will not take R difference, I mean it will not take open interval -1 1. You can see between -1 and 1, no, there is no portion of cosec x. Okay, so that's why no range is R difference this. So again, by restricting the domain to this minus pi by 2 0. Yeah, by restricting this domain to this minus pi by 2 0 0 pi by 2 semi open semi closed, or you can write closed interval minus pi by 2 difference 0. Okay, we can make it 1 1 and on 2, and range will be same, R difference open interval -1 1. So here if you see cosec inverse, this is a function from R difference open interval -1 1 to here it is closed interval minus pi by 2 difference 0, or you may write like this also, right? So y equal to cosec x implies cosec x equal to cosec inverse y. For example, if you write here cosec pi by 6 equal to 2, this implies cosec inverse 2 equal to pi by 6. So this is the graph of cosec inverse x, and the principal value branch of cosec inverse x you may write like this, or it is closed interval minus pi by 2 except 0, and sec inverse x next. So like your, I mean, wherever cos x 0, sec x not defined, so domain of sec x is set of real numbers, difference 2n plus 1 pi by 2, because at this point cos x is 0, and range is R difference -1 1. You can see from the graph, you see cosine function also it is drawn, I mean डॉटेड लाइन, एंड जहाँ पे कोसाइन है वहाँ पे सेक नहीं है, because it is reciprocal of cos x. So by restricting the domain to this 0 pi by 2 union pi by 2 pi, again semi closed and semi open, right? Sec x, anyway sec x is not defined at pi by 2, so pi by 2 will not be included, or simply you can take 0 to pi closed interval except pi by 2. Okay, so sec x becomes 1 1 and on 2. So sec inverse is a function from R difference open interval -1 1 to you can write this interval as closed interval 0 pi difference pi by 2. It means you can take the whole interval 0 pi closed interval except pi by 2. So again, whenever we write y equal to sec x equal to sec inverse y, have a look on the graph of sec inverse function and principal value branch, that is 0 pi closed interval except pi by 2. At x equal to pi by 2, sec x is not defined. So that's why you don't take this value. And coming to cot x, you see the graph, and here it's very clear when sin x 0, cot x not defined. Okay, so that's why domain of y equal to cot x is r difference n pi. Okay, because at x equal to n pi, any multiple of pi, sin x becomes 0. Range is set of real numbers that you can see from the graph. If we restrict its domain to 0 pi, open interval 0 pi, we can make it 1 1 and on 2, so it is invertible. So cot inverse is a function from set of real numbers to open interval 0 pi, right? And whenever we write y equal to cot x, it means x equal to cot inverse y. Cot pi by 4 1, it implies cot inverse 1 equal to pi by 4. Principal value branch is open interval 0 pi. So here you see the graph of cot inverse. Now three things you need to keep in the mind. First thing is principal value branch. So principal value branch is basically what? In one way we take principal value branch means it is range of the inverse trig function. Okay, or in the other way, principal value branch is that restricted domain in which the trigonometric function is 1 1, right? So principal value branch is that restricted domain of the trigonometric function in which the function becomes 1 1 and onto, right? Or simply you can take trigonometric inverse trig function का range is principal value branch. ठीक है? And all the values of inverse trig function will be within this principal value branch. We can't take any value beyond principal value branch. So range of the function means set of all values of the function. So set of all values of trigonometric inverse trig function will be within the principal value branch. So that's why now principal value branch is very important. And also sin inverse x and sin x power minus 1. So they are totally different. Why? Because sin inverse x is an angle. When we say cot pi by 4 equal to 1, cot inverse 1 is pi by 4. So cot inverse 1 pi by 4 means pi by 4 is an angle. So cot inverse 1 will be an angle. So in general, sin inverse x, cos inverse x, tan inverse x, all these are angles. Whereas whenever we write sin x power minus 1, that is basically 1 by sin x, or it is cosec x. So this is purely a number, trigonometric ratio. So sin inverse x is not equal to sin x power minus 1. Third thing is, whenever we write f is a function from a to b is invertible, means that is 1 1 and on 2. So inverse of that function is also 1 1. So if I write here f inverse, any invertible function is bijective. So f inverse from a to b is 1 1. So f inverse x equal to f inverse y implies x equal to y. In the same line, we can take whenever we write tan inverse x equal to tan inverse y, it implies x equal to y. We actually do not cancel tan inverse because we have not multiplied. हमने इसको multiply नहीं किया, तो हम इसको cancel नहीं करते. It is because of this, nature, no, 1 1 function. Because the function is 1 1, we are able to write like this. Okay, because whenever you say fx is 1 1, you write fx1 equal to fx2 implies x1 equal to x2. Okay, and you know the logic why we write fx equal to fy implies x equal to y. These three things you need to keep in the mind, and these are the principal value branches. See domain, and here you see sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, cosec, sec inverse. So just I have summarized the principal value branches. Next I have taken two properties only, two very basic properties, because that is linked to function chapter. So here you see first property is we have studied like f of f inverse of fx equal to x. So f can be replaced by any trig of function, sine inverse sine x, cos inverse cos x, tan inverse tan x, cot inverse cot x, everything is 1. So the basic concept here is f inverse of fx equal to x, and here x is domain of what? Domain of this sine x, cos x, tan x, because we have taken sine x. Here x belongs to closed interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. So while applying these properties, you really have to keep in the mind the domain of the function. Okay, and the second property again similar one. So again we have done in function chapter, f of f inverse x equal to x. Okay, f of f inverse x. So sine of sine inverse x equal to x, cos of cos inverse x equal to x, tan of tan inverse x equal to x, and so on. So here you see sine inverse x means here x should be domain of sine inverse, that is minus 1 1, domain of cos inverse minus 1 1, domain of tan inverse, that is set of real numbers. Okay, so these two are very basic properties, and the other properties we will be studying in our next class. And I have taken very simple four questions finding principal value of these. First one is, yeah, sine inverse root minus root 3 by 2. So minus root 3 by 2 is your sine minus sine, minus of sine pi by 3, sine 60 equal to root 3 by 2. Okay, so minus sine theta equal to sine minus theta. So you are getting minus pi by 3, which is within the principal value branch, minus pi by 2, pi by 2. Second question is cos inverse minus root 3 by 2. So minus root 3 by 2 means we have taken here minus cos pi by 6. So minus cos theta is cos pi minus theta. So we are getting here cos inverse cos 5 pi by 6, which is 5 pi by 6. Again we have to check the value we are getting, whether the value is within principal value branch or not. Okay, 5 pi by 6 belongs to closed interval 0 pi. So this is the principal value. And third one is sine inverse sine 3 pi by 5. Here the common mistake children make, sine inverse sine x equal to x. So here the answer actually it can't be 3 pi by 5, because 3 pi by 5 is beyond the principal value branch. So we have to reduce this value to the principal value branch of sine inverse, which is minus pi by 2, pi by 2 closed interval. So what we have done here, sin 3 pi by 5 को हमने क्या किया, sin theta is sin pi minus theta. So it means 3 pi by 5 can be written as pi minus 2 pi by 5. Okay, so sin inverse sin theta 2 pi by 5 is within minus pi by 2, pi by 2. So it can be accepted. So sin inverse sin theta theta. So principal value is this. And the last one is, whenever you have tan inverse tan 7 pi by 6, again similar mistake nobody will make, like tan inverse tan x को x कर देना. So before we write tan inverse tan x equal to x, we have to see x should be within the principal value branch. Okay, tan inverse tan 7 pi by 6 को लिखा pi plus pi by 6 means tan inverse tan pi by 6 because tan pi plus theta is tan theta. Okay, so you are getting, now you can use tan inverse tan x equal to x because ये हमारा principal value के अंदर ही आ रहा है. So tan inverse tan pi by 6 is pi by 6. So required principal value is pi by 6. Okay, so I think for today, I mean this much we need to study, and thank you so much. And in our next classes, I have divided the topic into 6 parts. So today we have done just first part. So other 5 parts, one after the other, we will be doing. Okay, so thank you so much, and see you in the next class. Okay.